weekend starts the playoff push. Starts the playoff, you win, you go home, right? But that only...
What, you win, you go home?
No, you lose, you go home. That's what it is. But that's only for 14 teams. There are a lot of other teams in the NFL. There are 32 teams. And if 14 of the teams moved on, 18 teams are out of the playoffs. 18 teams are figuring out their next season. And for some of those teams, change is on the horizon. During the season, we started to see change happening, right? It started off first on October 13th, 2025. Brian Callahan, the Tennessee Titans head coach, was fired after a 1-5 start to the season, right? That was the first change that happened, okay? That was in week 6 of the NFL. And then on November 10th, 2025, Brian Dable, the Bryans were fired in season, and he was fired after a 2-8 start to the season for the New York Giants. So we started seeing change happening midway through the season, and we saw change too with our team. My team, Tua Tagovailoa was benched. Maybe some of your quarterbacks had the same situation, right? Well, was Jaden Daniels benched or did he get injured? Injured. A little bit of a different situation, right? They had to make change because they were forced to make a change because he was not available. But Tua Tagovailoa was available. They just wanted to make a change. Now, the season has come to an end for 18 NFL teams. And those people in the organizations are now evaluating. Was it our players? Maybe our GMs, the Dolphins had a change, right? They fired their GM in the middle of the season. Is it our head coaches? And some of these teams fired their head coaches. After the season ended, 6 coaches have been fired. The first one was Raheem Morris, Atlanta Falcons. And to think, the Atlanta Falcons' last game of the season, they won. They won the last game of their season. But he was fired after having 2 consecutive seasons of 8-9. They were like, we need a change. The next firing came from the Cleveland Browns with Kevin Stefanski. He's a 2-time Coach of the Year candidate. He's won awards twice. But he was fired after a 5-12 season. Okay? They went 5-12 this year. Pete Carroll. He was fired after just 1 season with the Las Vegas Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders ended up last in the entire NFL. And Pete Carroll, you might look at him and say, well, he looks kind of old. Well, yeah, Pete Carroll's been around for a long time in the NFL. He used to be the head coach of the Seattle Seahawks. It didn't work out. Then we've got Jonathan Gannon. He was the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, okay? And he was fired after 3 consecutive losing seasons. He finished 3-14 this season. So he had 3 years of losing seasons in a row. And they were like, we got to make a change. We need change. Then we've got the shocker of the century, John Harbaugh. What? Not really a shock, but a shock because John Harbaugh is a big name in the NFL. He's been the coach of the Baltimore Ravens for 18 years. Dang. And they missed the playoffs this year by a fraction, by 1 loss. Obviously, as we know, it wasn't just that loss that made them miss. Losses came before that. But he was fired from the Baltimore Ravens. Then, most recently, ¿Qué dramática? Like, seriously? ¿Qué dramática? You loved him? You loved... Relax. I liked him too. I feel you, Sissy Pop. Mike McDaniel was fired after 4 seasons with the Miami Dolphins. And the thing with the Dolphins is I think they just want to change they want to change it all. The Dolphins actually hired a new GM.
Oh my gosh.
They hired a new GM, a new general manager. The general manager is the boss of the coach. Okay? So the reason why they hired a new boss of the coach is because they want that new boss of the coach to be able to pick his own coach, right? So they fired Mike McDaniel, right? They want a clean house. They want to start over. They say, we need change and we need it now. We need to clean our house. And they actually hired somebody from the Green Bay Packers. What happens to these coaches now that they're fired? Think about John Harbaugh, who was with the Baltimore Ravens for 18 years. He probably had a house that he lived in for a very long time. His family was probably raised there. He's 63 years old. So he went through his 40s and 50s in Baltimore. And now his time there is done. And it's a lot of uncertainty for these human beings. Because yes, they're coaches, but they're also human beings. It's a lot of uncertainty. But it's not always a bad thing. Right now, they're kind of floating in the air of coaching. They're floating in the coaching air, right? They just got fired. They're not hired yet. So they're here in the air as options. I want to show you some headlines recently. Raheem Morris to interview with the Giants on Thursday. These coaches are out now interviewing. They're trying to land another job. Kevin Stefanski already interviewing for Giants job. There's 2 coaches that are interviewing for the Giants job. Line forms with multiple teams anxious to interview John Harbaugh. Every single team wants him to be their head coach. Browns' interest in Mike McDaniel, who was fired by the Dolphins. Lions have reached out to Mike McDaniel about their offensive coordinator opening, right? So now these coaches have to go around and interview at different places to get a new job. And I want to explain something to you, the way a coaching tree works. You got your head coach, and I'm going to use this is the Lions in 2024. So not this season, but the season before. Dan Campbell was the head coach. Ben Johnson was the offensive coordinator. Aaron Glenn was the defensive coordinator. The head coach is like, think of the head coach as Miss Fraginals, right? She is the boss. She's the principal. And then we have Miss Mayo and Miss Zabala. Miss Mayo is in charge of grades 3 through 5. Miss Zabala is in charge of pre-K through 2nd grade. Think of it like that. He's in charge of the offense. He's in charge of the defense. This is Miss Fraginals, right? Here's Miss Fraginals. Here's Miss Mayo. And here's Miss Zabala. After that season 2 years ago, this team, did really well. And these 2 coaches also did really well. So you know what happened? These 2 coaches that next season became head coaches.
Oh my God. Yeah. The Lions.
So they moved up. They got promoted. They got promoted, right? So he was once the Miss Mayo of the Lions, and now he's the Miss Fraginals of the team. He was once the Miss Zabala of the Lions, and now he's the Miss Fraginals of a team. Some of these head coaches will just move to coach another team, right? Like Kevin Stefanski, your coach is a great coach. He'll move to another team. Your team will get another coach. But teams like with Mike McDaniel, says Lions have reached out to Mike McDaniel about their offensive coordinator opening. Mike McDaniel could go back to being from Miss Fraginals to Miss Mayo. He might say, okay, maybe I'll just be in charge of the offense instead of being a head coach, right? So that's how this all works. I mean, it's a grueling process. You got to fly around the United States of America, and you got to interview, and now they have to start over, and they got to prove their case, and they got to show what their worth is. But change is on the horizon, and we're going to start seeing over these next couple of weeks. If the Bills and Jaguars play each other and the Bills lose, we think that their coach is on the hot seat. Do you know what it means to be on the hot seat?
No.
If you're on the hot seat, it's like, woo, your seat is hot. Don't get too comfortable, right? Your coach could be on the hot seat. So there are different changes that could happen. There are also coaches right now that are getting ready for a playoff, that are getting ready for a playoff game. There are Miss Mayos of the playoff teams and Miss Zabalas of the playoff teams right now that are being asked to interview for head coaching jobs. Imagine that. Miss Mayo and Miss Zabala are getting ready to play a playoff game, and they've got teams that are eliminated asking them to be their head coach. It's a lot. While some teams are getting prepared for playoffs and getting ready to fight their way to a Super Bowl, other teams have change on the horizon. Other teams are making changes in their organization to try to improve their team. 25% of the teams that have fired their head coach. Change can be a good thing. In his first year as head coach, the Bears are the king of their division. They're sitting at number 2, right? Do you think this was a success for him? Yes. And then you look at Aaron Glenn. And the only thing is you might say, well, this is all his fault. The Jets were not good this year. But then again, the Jets didn't really have a great roster. He's a great coach. He needs time to figure it out. He needs time to draft good players, to get new people on his team. Doesn't make him a bad coach because he had one bad season on his first year. He needs time to figure it out. Yes.
So the 9 guy is switching with him?
These two people are the same
They're the
people.
same people.
In 2024, he was the Miss Mayo of the Lions. In 2025, he became the Miss Fragile of the Bears.
No, the bottom looks like Tom Brady.
His
A
beard?
little bit.
He look different now.
The biggest thing to watch out for will be this one. Where will this coach go? That is he's like the one that everybody wants right now. Everybody wants John Harbaugh, right? And we'll have to see. Now that he's out, do the Ravens have a head coach? No. So the Ravens are now looking for a head coach. Yes.
Is that Jim Harbaugh's brother?
Yes. They are brothers.
Who?
The Chargers head coach and the Ravens head coach are brothers. John Harbaugh is 1 year older than. You didn't know that? You guys didn't know that?
No.
What?
Yes.
So Jim is my head coach?
Jim is your head coach. John is yours. This is John and Jim.
Who's Jim?
This is Jim back in the day. Jim used to be a coach on the Niners. And this is John. I mean, he's been on the Ravens for 18 years.
So how many teams have he been on?
You know what Jim Harbaugh said when John got fired? A, he said he's one of the best coaches to ever do it. And C, he just really, really hopes that John Harbaugh goes to the NFC. Because Jim Harbaugh, the Chargers are what? What team or division? Conference. The Chargers are in the AFC. The Ravens are in the AFC. He does not want to keep being up against his brother. So he wants him to move to the other conference.
Because he's too good.
Yeah. See, Luca and Mateo? This could be you.
That could be
Chris Long and Kyle Long.
Perfect. Hey, wait. They're brown.
That's perfect.
That's perfect.
It's Luca and Mateo.
Yeah.